Now we talk about freedom of speech. As I said, I will defend your right to say it, even if I don't agree. And but can we in opposition honestly say that we practice this concept? If we were to say something which you don't like, the knives will be drawn. We always practice double standards. For instance, when certain allegations are made, for instance, against Rosma, yeah, she's alleged to have gone to Australia and spent 100,000 Australian dollars on shopping. She denied. She said no such thing. And everybody says the person who made the report, the reporter who wrote the story, has said he stands by his story. He will not apologize or retract the story. He stands by his story. So everybody says, well, Rosma, we don't believe you. We don't believe your denial. If you are really innocent, sue the Australian reporter. So Rosma's denial is not accepted, and to prove her innocence, she must sue. If not, we don't believe she's innocent. And then we have the opposition. For instance, Zuraida, as an example, making an allegation against a minister, Sharizad. Now, the evidence is there, of course. The documents prove that there is some possible hanky-panky, or even, at a very minimum, conflict of interest involved here. And Zuraida and Rafizi made the allegation against her, and the minister sued. And we are angry. Why did the minister sue? So, when someone makes an allegation against you, and you said, if you're innocent, prove it by suing. Sharizad did exactly that. An allegation was made against her, and she now wants to prove that she's not guilty by suing. But because here the allegation was made by the opposition, and the opposition member is being sued, you think it's wrong. You say it's stupid. She shouldn't sue. It's not right to sue. So, what standards are we, are we adopting here? If an allegation is made and if the person wants to defend himself or herself and she sues, is that the right or not? Of course, I'm not saying that one is innocent, the other one is guilty, but I'm talking about the right to sue. On the one hand, as long as it favors the opposition, you say sue. On the other hand, if it is against the opposition interest, you say you should not sue. So are you actually upholding justice? Or are you actually upholding opposition interests? Now, justice is justice. Opposition interest is opposition interest. We cannot marry the two. In other words, justice has to be above anyone's interests. Justice must serve the interests of justice. Justice must not serve the interests of any single political group. Now, this is something which they cannot understand. Freedom of speech. Are you talking about freedom of speech or freedom to criticize the government? It appears that the opposition does not respect freedom of speech. What they want is freedom to criticize the government. What happens if criticism is made against the opposition? And that's not freedom of speech. Opposition must not be criticized. Opposition is doing a noble cause. Opposition can do no wrong. I said the opposition does do wrong things. I said that there is corruption in Selangor. I told Anwar when we met him in London. I said there is corruption in Selangor. I met Anwar in 2010. And I know there's corruption in Selangor because a year earlier, in 2009, one of my whistleblowers already told me about it. And this whistleblower was supposed to gather all the evidence, because I told my whistleblower, it's no point to accuse Selangor government or certain people in the Selangor government of being corrupted without giving me the evidence. I can't run the story without the evidence. In spite of probably many people think that I run stories without evidence. That's not quite true. I do back myself with evidence. In the event that someone challenges me to produce the evidence, I will have the evidence to produce. So this person was supposed to work on the evidence for me. Unfortunately, he was murdered 2 weeks later. But that's another story which we are going to talk about at another time. So back in 2009, there was already clear indication of corruption. 2010, we told Anwar. And of course, nothing was done about it. He said, we'll try to look into it. And it went on for 2 years, 2 years more. And we're coming very close to the next election, And people are talking about this corruption. There are people coming forward now even to tell me that I have been approached by certain leaders and they asked for money. And they said the money is for election fund. Now, these people are doing business with Selangor. These people need approvals. They need, help from the Selangor government. And these are the people you're approaching. Would these people dare say no? Would these people say, I don't have money, or I think this is unethical? Of course they will have to give, because if they don't give, they're in trouble. One person refused to give, and his project is in trouble now. He can't get approval. So everybody knows, if you don't give whatever is being asked, it's at your own peril. And they're already victims, of this backlash because they refuse to give the money. People are talking. Now we need to get this out into the open, because it's not that people are not aware of it. People are aware of it. And if we bring it out into the open, hopefully Pakatan will do something about the matter and prove to the voters in Selangor that they are serious about combating corruption. It worries me when people who voted Pakatan in 2008 today tell me, Pakatan Barisan, all the same lah, both also corrupted. This worries me. That's not a good sign. And with just one frustrated voice, maybe nothing to be alarmed about. But when there's so many people coming, and some of these people are very, very close to Pakatan and some of Pakatan's leaders. But of course, in front of Pakatan, they say nice things. Behind their backs, they condemn. I think there's something to be alarmed about. Now, I can continue talking, writing, having private meetings with Pakatan leaders, talk to DAP leaders, talk to past leaders, even talk to Anwar like how I used to. But nothing's going to happen. The elections are going to come. The elections is going to go. Pakatan faces a serious danger, a genuine risk of losing Selangor. And why you think there's already, in a way, a power struggle going on in UMNO as to who's going to be the next Menteri Besar of Selangor. This is like sharks smelling blood. And the sharks here, of course, UMNO. And they smell blood because they see that Pakatan's about to be ripped to pieces. And now one of us is going to be the next Menteri Besar of Selangor. And it's not going to be Khair Toyo. It's got to be a successor to Khair Toyo. And now they're fighting. It's like the children being told by the doctor that your old man is about to die. He's breathing his last few breaths. And the children are already fighting over the inheritance even before the old man's body can be called. And if Pakatan is still sleeping, and if Pakatan wants to wait until after the next election, before lamenting, oh, we should have seen the writings on the wall, just like what happened in Perak. We should have taken more notice, just like what happened in Perak. It's a bit too late, isn't it? Perak's lost. Do we want to wait until Selangor is also lost? And the only way I can shake them up is to go to the mainstream media. And boy, did we shake them up. We shook them up. Of course, their reaction is not, yeah, okay, there's allegations of corruption. We will look into it. We will certainly clean it up. We will take action. No, their reaction is, he's been bought off. He's working for UMNO. That's their reaction. If that's the best thing they can do in response to this allegation, and their response is that malafide on my part, that I'm out to kill Pakatan rather than save Pakatan, which is what I'm trying to do, then I have to take this to the next step. And the next step is, I'll give you the evidence. Because Faika said, some of the others also said, don't just accuse, don't just make allegations. If you really have evidence of corruption, bring it out into the open, reveal it, show it. Like I said, sometimes be careful what you wish for. But since this is the challenge, and people have said, unless you can prove your allegations with evidence, we're not going to take notice of you, fine. This is what you want, this is not what I want, I will do what you want. And after this, I hope the effect would be, once all this evidence surfaces, Anwar will grab the bull by the horns, and even if he's got to cut off the heads of the people he loves, he will do so. Because here, the cause is above the people, above the individual. And if Anwar wishes to save a few of his favorite boys, then be ready to lose the whole state. Because that may be the result of what's going to happen.